The ship landed on the soft purple grass of the Alari homeworld. Clouds in the sky floated slowly like ribbons, and tall crystal trees glowed faintly under the morning sun. Leo stepped out of the shuttle, his boots pressing into the alien ground. He looked around with calm curiosity. This was his first time on a planet outside the Terran Alliance's main systems. He had been sent as a peace engineer, meant to help upgrade their energy systems and improve water flow to the southern Alari. Villages Leo had read the reports. The Alari were gentle, peaceful, and deeply tied to old customs. But he didn't expect the strange silence that greeted him. No crowd, no noise, only a group of tall figures in silver robes. And in front of them stood a young woman. She had soft blue skin, long silver hair braided down her back, and large teal eyes, wore a flowing white dress that shimmered in the light. Her face was calm but serious. A translator device on Leo's wrist buzzed softly. "Welcome, honored human." One of the robed figures said, "As is tradition, a guest of importance is given a companion." Leo's eyebrows raised. "Companion? She will help you understand our ways. She will care for your needs. She is yours, if you accept." Leo looked at the woman. She didn't speak. She stood still, hands folded, eyes looking at him gently. He felt his chest tighten. Something didn't feel right. "I don't need a companion," Leo said politely. "I came here to work, to help." "We understand," the elder said. "But this is our way. To reject her would bring shame." Leo sighed and nodded slowly. He didn't want to insult anyone. Especially on his first day, all right? But only if she agrees to. The woman stepped forward. Her voice was soft like wind through leaves. "I am called Naira. I accept." Leo gave a weak smile. "Then, nice to meet you." They walked together to the guest house prepared for him. It was built in Alari-style smooth curves, open windows, and soft lights. Naira walked a step behind him, quiet. She placed his bags in the room, brought him fruit water, and stood near the door. "You don't have to stand there," Leo said. "Sitting on the couch, you can sit or rest or do anything you want." She tilted her head slightly. "But I am your gift." He frowned. "You're not a gift. You're a person." "I didn't ask for any of this. I was chosen for." "You. That doesn't mean I own you." Naira sat down carefully, watching his face. "I don't understand your ways yet, but I want to." Leo nodded. "Good. And I'll try to understand yours too." Days passed. Leo began working with the village engineers. They welcomed him with quiet respect. He helped fix broken pipes, rerouted energy lines, and taught better methods to store clean water. The Alari were amazed by his patience and skill. But even while working, he could feel Naira nearby. She followed him everywhere, silent, helpful, and always watching. She brought him tools before he asked, kept his notes in order, and stayed close during meals. She didn't speak much, only when he spoke first. Every time he told her she could rest or leave, she simply smiled and said, "This is my place." Leo grew more confused each day. She never seemed upset, never angry, only calm and patient. But deep inside, he knew she was holding something back. One night, after a long day fixing the northern pumps, Leo returned home exhausted. He found Naira waiting at the door. She had prepared food and tea. "You didn't have to do all this," Leo said as he sat down. "I could have just eaten at the work tent." "But I wanted to," she said softly. They ate in silence. The warm light of the room made her skin glow softly. When he finished eating, he leaned back with a tired breath. "Naira," he said, "do you want to be here?" She looked at him, confused. "Yes. I was sent to you. But do you want to be here?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she said, "I was raised to believe this is a great honor, to be chosen and gifted." "You shouldn't be given to anyone," Leo said. "You're not a thing. You should be free to choose who you want to be with. Even if that's no one." Naira looked down at her hands. "No one has ever asked me that." Leo stood up and stretched. "Think about it. You don't have to be anything just because someone told you to." He walked to his room and paused at the door. "Good night, Naira." She whispered back, "Good night, human." He closed the door behind him. But inside, Naira sat quietly, her thoughts spinning like wind in a silent forest. Her heart felt something strange, something warm and new. For the first time, she didn't feel like someone's gift. She felt seen. The next morning, Naira stood outside early, as always. She watched the sun rise over the crystal trees, the sky changing from silver to soft orange. Inside, Leo rubbed his eyes and stretched. He opened the door and saw her waiting. "You really don't sleep much, do you?" he asked. "I sleep lightly," she replied. "Yeah. I like watching the light come through the trees. It's peaceful." Leo smiled faintly. "Well, don't wear yourself out." He stepped past her and walked toward the energy station. Naira followed. Silent again, only a few steps behind. Every time he turned to look at her, she looked away gently. It's like she didn't want to be caught watching him. At the station, Leo got busy with the controls. Some of the systems were still unstable. Da-da-da. As he worked, Naira brought him the tools before he asked. It had become her quiet way of speaking no words, just small, perfect actions. After an hour, he finally set his tool down and looked at her. "You don't have to follow me all day, Naira. Go explore. Relax. This place is yours too." "Down, I do not wish to go. You sure?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. When I am with you, I feel like I belong." Leo blinked. "Why?" Naira looked into his eyes, calm and clear. "You see me?" Before he could say anything more, another Ellery worker called for help. Leo left her side and focused on the job again. But her words stayed. In his mind, that evening, after dinner, Leo sat on the open balcony of the guest house. Stars filled the sky, shining like soft candles. Naira joined him without a word, sitting on the floor beside his chair. After a while, she broke the silence. "Human." Leo nodded. "Yeah, on your world. Do people not give companions?" "No," he said. "Not like this. People choose who they want, they talk, they get to know each other, and they stay close. Only if both agree." Naira nodded. "I think I understand." She looked down at her fingers and said softly, "I was told you would take my hand, that you would call me yours. But many days have passed, and you haven't touched me." "Not even once." Leo froze. The air around them felt heavier now. She looked up at him, not angry, not hurt, just confused. "I was a gift, human. Why haven't you touched me yet?" Leo took a breath. "Naira, it's not because I dislike you. You're kind, thoughtful. You've helped me every day. But the idea of someone being a gift, especially a person that's hard for me to accept. But I was raised for this," she said, trained. "Chosen. I was proud when they picked me. It meant I had value." Leo turned in his chair to face her. "You have value, Naira. Not because someone picked you, but because of who you are. You don't need to be given to anyone to be important." She stayed quiet for a moment. Her face softened, like a wall inside her had started to break. "No one has ever said that to me. Maybe they should have," Leo replied gently. She stood up and walked toward the edge of the balcony. "I thought, if I stayed close, you would notice me, that you would claim me."
Ow!
Leo shook his head. "I don't want to claim anyone. I just want to understand you, and for you to understand me." "Then what am I to you?" Leo smiled. "You're Naira. Not a gift, not a tool. Just someone who's been with me every step. And if you want to stay, it should be your choice, not a command from tradition." Naira turned around. The moonlight touched her face, giving her a soft glow. "Then I choose to stay. Not because I was told to, but because you listen."
Ow.
Leo looked up at her, surprised but quietly moved. "Thank you." Naira sat back down beside him, a little closer this time, still not touching, but no longer afraid to be near. They both looked up at the stars. From far away, an Alari elder watched them from the shadows of the garden. He narrowed his eyes and turned to leave, his robe brushing the grass. The changes between the human and Naira had not gone unnoticed. The days passed gently. The air around the guest house felt lighter now, as if something quiet and warm had started to grow between them. Leo no longer saw Naira as someone assigned to him, saw her as a kind, curious, calm. Naira also changed. She no longer walked 2 steps behind him. She walked beside him now. Sometimes they talked about little things, plants, tools, weather, but sometimes they sat in silence, and it felt enough. One evening, after a long day fixing the southern pipes, Leo returned with dirt on his clothes and tired eyes. Naira met him at the door, holding a small cloth and a fresh drink. "You worked hard," she said, double quotes. "Yeah. These systems are older than I thought." She moved closer and gently wiped a streak of dust from his cheek. Leo didn't stop her. He simply looked at her face, seeing something different in her eyes. Not duty, not pressure, choice. "Thank you," he whispered. She smiled and stepped back. They sat under the wide sky again that night. Naira held a soft instrument in her hand, something like a harp, with strings made of glowing threads. "Do you play that?" Leo asked. "A little," she said. "My mother taught me." "Can you show me?" She nodded and plucked the strings. Gently, a sweet, soft sound filled the air. Leo closed his eyes, letting the music wash over him. It was the kind of sound that made you forget where you were, like you were floating in a dream. When she stopped, he opened his eyes slowly. That was beautiful. Naira looked at him. "Do your people play music like this?" "We do," he said. "But each world has its own sound. I think yours sounds like peace." She looked pleased. "Music is not given as a gift. It is only shared." Leo smiled. "That's how it should be." The next day, the royal family sent word. Leo was invited to a gathering at the High Hall. He didn't want to go, but he knew it was important. Naira helped him prepare. She chose a robe for him and brushed his hair carefully. "You look very Alari now," she said with a soft laugh. "Will they accept that I haven't followed?" "Their custom?" he asked. "Some might not," she replied. "But I will stand beside you." At the hall, tall columns rose high above, and the floor shimmered like water. Leaders from across the region sat in a wide circle. When Leo entered, with Naira, the room became silent. Many eyes followed them. An elder stood and spoke. "Engineer Leo, we thank you for your work. But we have noticed you have not claimed your gift." Leo stayed calm. "Naira is not a gift. She is a person." A quiet stir passed through the crowd. "She was chosen for you," the elder said firmly. Leo looked at Naira. She gave a small nod. He turned back to the room. "Yes, she was chosen. But she chose to stay, and I respect that more than anything." Some elders frowned, but a few younger ones whispered with interest. Then Naira stepped forward. "Elders," she said softly, "I have served as I was told, but now I choose to stay with the human. Not because I was given, but because I want to walk beside him." The room went silent again. For a moment no one moved, and one of the younger counselors stood. "Is that not a stronger bond than any gift?" he asked. A few heads nodded. Others looked uncertain. The gathering ended with no clear decision. Leo and Naira walked back slowly under the stars. "You were brave," Leo said. "So were you. Do you regret saying that in front of them?" "No," she answered. "For once I spoke as myself." Later that night, Leo sat by the small desk in his room, writing notes. Naira entered and placed something on the table beside him. It was a small, glowing crystal with a ribbon tied around it. "What's this?" he asked. "A memory crystal," she said. "We store sounds or moments in it. I saved the music I played last night." Picked it up gently. "Thank you." Turned to leave, then paused. "Double quotes, Leo," she said quietly. "Am I still just someone following you?" He looked up. "No, you're someone I've started to care about." Her eyes brightened just a little. She gave a quiet smile and left the room. Outside in the dark corners of the palace garden, an older Alari stood hidden. He watched Naira walk under the moonlight, with her head held higher than ever before. His hand tightened around his staff. "The human changes her too quickly," he whispered. "Too deeply." The days after the gathering were quiet but different. Something had shifted. The way others looked at Naira had changed. Some with respect, some with worry. Whispers followed her through the markets and hallways. Still she kept walking with her head held high. Leo noticed the change too. Even some of the engineers avoided eye contact now. He didn't say anything at first, but one morning, while checking the western water line, he turned to Naira. "Are you okay?" She nodded slowly. "I'm fine. They're treating you differently. Because of me." "No," she said. "Because of me. Because I spoke." Leo sighed. "I didn't want this to cause trouble. Change always brings trouble," Naira said calmly. "But it also brings light." They shared a quiet moment before going back to work. The air was warm and a soft wind moved through the trees. But in the distance, the high tower of the Elder Council glowed brighter than usual. Inside, something was being planned. Later that evening, as Leo returned to the guest house, a message arrived from the Terran Alliance. He opened the small tablet and read the note aloud. "Mission complete. Prepare for return within 2 days." Naira stood by the doorway, hearing every word. Leo turned toward her. "They're calling me back." Nodded slowly. "I thought this time would come. I didn't think it would come so soon." He didn't know what else to say. He didn't know what he even wanted to say. He looked at her, standing there with her hands folded, her eyes calm but full of quiet thoughts. That night, neither of them slept much. The next day, Leo packed slowly. Naira helped him, but neither of them spoke. Finally, she broke the silence. "Will you return to your world?" Leo nodded. "Yes. Will you come back to ours?" "I want to. I don't know when, but I want to." Naira took a step closer. "I don't want to stay behind." Leo looked at her in surprise. "You want to come with me?" "Yes, not because I was told, not because of duty, but because I choose you." Leo felt something heavy and warm in his chest. "Naira, are you sure? Earth is nothing like this place. I want to learn it with you." Before he could say anything more, a knock came at the door. A royal guard stepped inside. "The council wishes to speak with her," he said. "Alone." Leo frowned. "Why?" The guard didn't answer. Naira gave Leo a calm look. "It's all right. I will go." She followed the guard to the tower. Inside the council chamber, the older members sat with cold eyes. "You are breaking tradition," one elder said. "I am following my heart," Naira replied. "Your heart was shaped by outsiders. My heart was shaped by silence." She said, standing tall. "The human only gave me words." The eldest among them, a sharp-eyed man named Varan, stood. "If you leave with him, you will lose your name. You will no longer be one of us." Naira's hands trembled slightly, but her voice stayed steady. "Then let me go with no name. I would rather be nameless and free than honored and silent." Armored. The room fell into heavy silence. Back at the guest house, Leo waited by the window. Hours passed. The transport ship was already on its way. Still, no sign of Naira. Just as he stepped outside to search for her, he saw her walking up the hill. She looked tired but strong. Her eyes locked with his. "They gave me a choice," she said. "Stay or go without my name." Leo stepped forward. "What did you choose?" "I chose you." He didn't speak. Instead, he held out his hand for the first time. She looked at it, then reached out and took it. They stood like that, hand in hand, for a long moment, as the sky lit up with the soft glow of the transport ship arriving. Figures gathered below to watch, some in support, some in silence. And among them, Varan watched with cold eyes. He turned to one of the younger counselors. "She has left our ways. She walks into darkness." But the young counselor looked at the human and Naira and said, "No, she walks into her own light." Leo and Naira boarded the ship together, side by side, not as guest and gift, but as two souls moving toward something unknown, but truly their own. The stars outside the ship glowed softly as it moved toward Earth. Leo sat beside Naira in the small cabin, both looking out at the endless sky. The hum of the ship was calm, but inside emotions were louder than any engine. This place, Naira said quietly, is very different from home. Leo smiled gently. Earth is crowded, noisy, and fast. It can be hard to breathe sometimes, but it is also full of many people who want to learn and grow. Naira nodded. Will your people accept me? Leo looked at her. Some will be curious, some afraid, but many will want to understand. She touched his hand for the first time, fingers soft against his skin. I trust you. And I trust you, Leo said. The ship landed near a large city filled with tall buildings and bright lights. The crew welcomed Leo back with smiles, but when they saw Naira, their eyes widened. Many had never seen an Alari before. At the spaceport, a crowd gathered, news crews, officials, and curious citizens. Leo held Naira's hand tightly as they walked down the ramp. This is Naira, Leo said into the microphone. She is not a gift, but a friend. She chose to come with me. The reporters asked questions, but Naira spoke calmly, telling her story simply. She spoke about her home, the Alari customs, and her choice to be free. Some listeners nodded with understanding. Others whispered doubt. Not everyone was ready to accept a visitor from another world living among them. Leo's team arranged for Naira to stay in a cultural center, a place where beings from other worlds could learn about Earth and share their own stories. It was cozy and quiet, filled with books, music, and plants from many planets. Naira walked slowly through the halls, touching the pages of books, listening to soft music, and watching the humans moving around. She was fascinated but also a little afraid. Everything was so loud and fast. One day Leo brought her to a small park. Children played with robotic toys, laughing and chasing each other. Do you like this place? Leo asked. Naira smiled. Yes, it feels alive. A group of children noticed Naira and ran toward her, curious and wide-eyed. Are you an alien? One boy asked. I am, Naira said softly, kneeling to meet their eyes. But I am also a friend. The children smiled and reached out to touch her skin gently. She laughed a soft musical sound that filled Leo's heart with warmth. At the cultural center, Naira began to teach Alari music and customs. She told stories of her home world and listened to tales from other visitors. Leo watched her grow more confident. It was no longer the quiet gift waiting in the shadows. She was a bridge between worlds. But not everyone welcomed this change. Some politicians and officials worried about her presence, whispered about risks and unknown dangers. A few called for strict rules about aliens living on Earth. Leo stood beside Naira in every meeting, defending her and their friendship. Naira is a symbol of hope, he said. She chose freedom and friendship over fear and control. Naira smiled and added, I am learning your world, and I want to share mine. Together we can build something new. Their story spread quickly. People wrote articles, made videos, and shared pictures. Some called them heroes. Others called them troublemakers. But Leo and Naira didn't mind. They focused on learning and growing hand in hand. One evening, as the city lights blinked below, Leo turned to Naira. Do you miss home? She looked out at the night sky, distant stars shining above. Sometimes, but I feel at home here with you. Leo smiled. Then we will face the future together. Naira squeezed his hand and whispered, Always. The days after Naira's arrival on Earth were filled with new experiences. Every morning she woke to sounds she had never heard before, the honking of cars, the chatter of people, and the soft hum of machines. It was strange but exciting. Leo took her to many places. Parks filled with green grass and tall trees, museums with old artifacts, and markets bursting with colors and smells. Naira learned quickly. She loved listening to Earth music, tasting new foods, and meeting people from different cultures, but more than all that, she loved the freedom. Here, no one told her who to be. She could choose her own path. One day Leo brought Naira to a school. Children were playing outside, laughing and running. Naira watched quietly. Then a small girl with bright eyes walked up and took Naira's hand. Will you teach me your music? Girl asked. Naira smiled. Yes, little one. I will teach you. Inside the school, Naira played her glowing harp. The children gathered around, listening with wide eyes. The music was soft and magical, different from anything they had heard before. Leo stood back, watching. He felt proud. A visitor. She was becoming part of this world. At night, they sat together on the balcony of Leo's apartment, looking at the stars. Naira's hand found Leo's and held it gently. Do you remember when you first came here? Leo asked. Yes, Naira said. I was scared, unsure, but you showed me kindness. You showed me courage, Leo replied. They smiled, feeling the quiet strength between them. But not everything was easy. Some people still didn't trust Naira. Rumors spread that aliens could be dangerous or spies. Leo faced many meetings with officials who questioned why he brought Naira to Earth. We must protect our people, one official said. We cannot trust outsiders. Leo shook his head. Naira is not an outsider. She is my friend, and she chose to be here. Naira decided to speak herself. She went to a large hall filled with people from all over Earth. Her voice was soft, but strong. I am not a gift to be given or taken. I am a person with a heart and a mind, and choose to live here, to learn, and to share. Fear should not stop us from meeting new friends. Her words touched many hearts. Some cried, some smiled. A new hope grew in the room. Leo and Naira began to work together on a project, a cultural exchange center, where beings from many worlds could come to learn and teach. It was a place of peace and friendship. Slowly, the city embraced Naira. Children painted pictures of her. Artists made songs inspired by her music. And the young and old came to hear her stories one evening. As they prepared for the center's opening, Leo looked at Naira. You've changed many minds, he said. And you changed mine, Naira answered. They stood together under the soft glow of Earth's moon, their hands still gently touching in that moment. The galaxy seemed smaller, kinder, and full of promise. Naira whispered, I am no longer a gift. I am free, and I am yours, by choice. Leo smiled, and I am yours. Together they stepped into the future, two souls from different worlds, united not by duty or tradition, but by love, respect, and freedom.